We got a new movie review. We saw Five Nights at Freddy's 2 early here in San Antonio at the press screening. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Legacy of Nerd. My name is Daniel, and we got a new movie review, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. We got to see it early here in San Antonio at the press screening. Definitely want to talk about. We're doing a non-spoiler review, so we're not going to hit any major plot points, any major reveals, but I'm just going to talk about what I liked about the movie, what I didn't like about the movie, and get a general feeling out to you guys so you guys know whether you want to spend your money and see this movie in theaters. So, I want to start off by saying that I was a really big fan of the first movie. I am not like a big Five Nights at Freddy's diehard fan. In fact, before I saw the first movie, I was only like minimally aware of what it was. And after I saw the first movie, I was hooked. I went and watched YouTube videos on the lore, watched gameplay. I was like all into it. And going into the second movie, my biggest problem is I wish I would have watched the first movie first before going in. I had tried to watch it on Peacock. It wasn't on Peacock, wasn't on Netflix, wasn't on HBO Max. Apparently it might be on like on Stars. Like who has Stars? But yeah, that's my biggest problem. I didn't have easy access to watch the first movie before going to the second movie because I felt like I did remember most of the first movie, but I feel like there was details in the first movie that I may have forgotten that may have helped while watching the second movie. So definitely recommend watching the first movie first if you can, if you have access to it, because I feel like it will help your watching experience of the second movie. So the second movie itself, I had fun with this movie. I was engaged in it, but like I said, there was a lot of points here. Like I feel like I was left out. Like there was a lot of things I think are here for diehard fans. And again, I'm not a diehard fan, so I wasn't getting like the references. There was parts in the movie where people were clapping at little lines and people walking in. They may have been cameos. They may have been references or Easter eggs to the games. I wasn't getting it. So I felt a little bit left out in the movie, but I think if you're going in and you're not a big Die Hard fan, I think there's enough in this movie for you to enjoy. We're at their original location here. So we find out the location from the first movie was one of the following locations. This was the Fazbear Pizzeria, Freddy's Fazbear Pizzeria, that has totally different animatronics. Well, I guess not totally different. They're different versions of the animatronics, but we had before. We got Toy Chica, Toy Bonnie, Toy Foxy, and Toy Freddy Fazbear. So they're like cleaner, more technologically advanced. And this movie, it's much more from the point of view of Vanessa, who's played by Elizabeth Lail, than it is from either Abby or Mike or Josh Hutcherson. And I believe her name is Piper. I think the actress's name for Abby is Piper. Yeah, it's more from Vanessa's point of view. We see Vanessa kind of like dealing with the events of the first movie and her life, right? So if you guys remember, she is the daughter of William Afton, played by Matthew Lillard. And William Afton has been murdering children for most of his life using the Freddy's locations to hide bodies and as like kind of a cover. And yeah, she's dealing a lot with her past. We see Mike, Josh Hutcherson. He's actually a more responsible parent in this movie, I would have to say. He's taking care of his little sister, Abby, but like he's like more put together. He is definitely more concerned about like her future, things that are going on with her. He's making sure he says he loves her. He's asking her about her day. Like he's obviously much more in friend mode, but Abby is kind of more dealing with like the original animatronics were her friends. Like they were possessed by children. They were real people real spirits in those animatronics, and they're gone now. And she's kind of dealing with her friends now being gone, and she's kind of sad about that. And Mike, Josh Hutcherson, is trying to help her get through that. Now, if you were hoping this movie was going to have a lot of Matthew Lillard, McKenna Grace, and even Josh Hutcherson, don't be holding your breath on that. Even Skeet Ulrich, like there was very minimal outside of Vanessa, Mike, and Abby. There's maybe 2 scenes max. I think there's only 1 scene. No, there's 2 scenes with Matthew Lillard. There's 1 scene with Skeet Ulrich. McKenna Grace is in it, and she comes in as like these paranormal investigator teams, and we saw it in the trailer and the clips before. Yeah, and this movie was very, very much marketed like McKenna Grace, Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich, and very marketed as like, we got the Scream 2, Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich, they're back together here. And yeah, they're not in it that much. So I don't want you going into the movie hoping that you're going to see a lot of them, because you're not going to see a lot of them. Obviously, we know William Afton met his end at the first movie in a very crazy way, which I thought was really cool. And this movie, not so much. But yeah, so there are some big reveals in this movie that I think are going to be big for diehards. For me, it was kind of like, okay, we're just adding something on it. A big part of this movie is that Mike is upset with Vanessa because he keeps on finding out new things about Vanessa's past. Obviously, Vanessa doesn't want to reveal her whole past because it's really, really messy, because she knew that her dad was murdering children for most of her life and she never turned him in. And she's also kind of like dealing with, still feeling like she is under his hold, right? And it's having like a lot of like mental consequences with her. We see a lot of like PTSD in her. We got Toy Chica, we got new versions, we got Toy Freddy Fazbear. The animatronics are used in a very different way, and I think this may be a tie to the second game. So if people are more familiar with the second game, they might understand it. But I don't want to ruin it for people that aren't familiar with the games, because the ways that the toys are, they're different. So I guess not the toys are, the animatronics are, there's different. So it's a different take, like how the first movie, the animatronics were children, or possessed by children. This one is different. So it's going to be a different way of how they are. The marionette is super creepy. Super, super creepy. That's what I gotta say about that. I don't know why anyone would ever think that animatronic as a child is fun and happy or anything. Like, nah, that is not. That's nightmare stuff. So yeah, like I said, I had a really good time. I was engaged in this movie. Like, the movie was building, and we got to this one point and I was like really engaged. I was watching it like, what is happening next? That's where I kind of just got to leave it off. It's not that I'm upset with it. It's just I didn't expect it. And I think people will kind of be caught off guard on when we get to like the big climax in the movie about what happens there. Oh yeah, there is one post-credit scene. Make sure to stay for that. I feel like diehards, again, gotta love it. Now, like I said, there's a lot of things here for diehard fans. When I was coming out the movie, I was talking to people about the movie. Some people were loving it and some people were like, And I feel like that's going to be like how the big response is about this movie, fans coming out of theaters. I feel like you're either going to love this movie or you're not going to be so happy with it. So my grade for it, I say, is a B+. I did enjoy the first movie better. This second movie, there's a lot more horror to this second movie. There's a lot more jump scares. I appreciated that because I didn't feel like the first movie was scary at all. I feel like it was a great story, but I didn't feel like the first movie was scary at all. I saw someone say like this movie, this franchise is like a gateway horror franchise, and I think that's the best way to put it. Has very much an idea that kids are going to be watching this movie, and I would say kids under 13, they're expecting to come see this movie. So it's like scary, but it's very, very held back to accommodate the younger audiences that are going to come in. But otherwise, I had a fun time. I give this movie a B+. I think you should go see it in theaters. I think it's worth seeing in theaters. I think if you saw the first movie, I think you really need to go see the second movie if you like the first movie. If you didn't like the first movie, this movie is probably not for you at all. And I would just wait till it comes to streaming. If it does come to streaming, because apparently Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't stay in one place at one time, so you got to catch it when you catch it. But I do think it's worth seeing in theaters. I had fun. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are you guys going to go see this movie? If you've seen this movie already, what did you think? Try to keep the spoilers out of the comments if you can, but let me know what you guys think, and I'll see y'all next time.